live from the Real Guppy Dockside Learning and Multimedia Center. It's the Real Angler Podcast with community Kevin Brannon, brought to you by AFTCO Fishing Apparel and Tackle, designed to perform. Channel Island Sport Fishing, offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats, and more. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. See what's out there. Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. And now, here's your host, Community Kevin Brannon. Today's guest, Captain Tiffany Vague of Vague Rods at vaguerods.net. We're good to go. So, I actually have a microphone this time, Kevin, so it'll sound better. This is the Real Anglers Podcast for January 22nd, 2025. Kevin will introduce you to our guest momentarily. Barry says, let's go. So let's go.
All right. This one doesn't need much introduction. This is a really good friend of mine, Tiffany Vague, right? For some reason, I wanted to throw in the last second. I wanted to throw an in there and call you Vaughn for a second. And I was like, wait. I'll hack up names. So I'm wearing this Oxnard Panthers sweater, and I got it because I'm the announcer at the kids football games, and I'll tear a name up, man. My enunciation when it comes to people's names. Hold on. But anyway, so we just got through our third technical difficulty. I think we're good to go here. Scotty cut it all up to make it look real good.
I did sign my HR report. Oh yeah, I got reported this morning.
I gave him a write-up. Look, get it together. Because I warned him in the parking lot already about what did I say? He was on the phone with his mom, and I was like, "Oh, what are you doing in the car?" And he goes, "Oh, I was talking to my mom." I'm like, all right, don't make it a habit or something. Yeah, Scotty was sitting in his car. What are you doing sitting on there in the vehicle? I'm like, all right, don't make it a habit. So then you get in here, and we got a delay, and so yeah, I had to go to the written.
It's not the first time, folks.
No, but honestly, I don't know where we'd be without Scotty, man. He makes it all the magic really happen for the years that we've been doing the podcast. But anyway, so Tiffany is a rod builder. She was my vice president and president of Coastal Conservation Association. She was one of our sponsors for Real Anglers Fishing Show when we went up there and we did a commercial at Hook, Line, and Sinker and Your Gun Store. That commercial was classic. When you pointed that 357 into the camera, that was a go hard moment for our show. Everybody liked that, man. Nothing cooler than watching somebody cock back at 357, especially a female. So that's how long me and Tiffany, her dad, Captain David Bacon, is on our is a friend of mine as well. When I got on the SAC board, he kind of nominated me and recommended me take a seat on the Sanctuaries Advisory Council. And he just their family's been in the fishing industry and business. She's been a deckhand. She's a captain, and she has some exciting new stuff she's doing with rod building. And she'll be at the Hall Show this Thursday. It's going through the 30th, or I'm sorry, from Thursday, I think is the 28th. Mm-hmm. The 28th through Sunday is what today, Scotty?
No, Thursday's the 29th.
So 29th through Sunday?
Sunday, February 2nd.
Thank you. Wow. Yeah. And you'll be there. So enough of me stepping on my own tongue in here. Tiffany, why don't you go ahead and tell people what you got going on? And again, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day before you get, as you're getting ready for the show and coming on the podcast today.
No worries. Thank you for having me. I'll start off with the Bart Hall Show. We've got some incredible things going on there. We've got this huge booth, and what we're basically doing is teaching people how to build rods. So we've got back-to-back seminars. We've got raffles, free rod gives away, custom rods to give away each day. We've got 8 different speakers on board that are going to teach people how to build rods from beginning on up.
We do a rod building program here. Well, it's more of a rebuild program. We don't have enough time during a Saturday that we're here for 3 hours for them to build a complete rod. And we're looking to start doing that into the new year with our funding and what we're able to do. But the rod building program that we do is kind of to showcase kids that you can be rebuilt and still be purposeful and useful. Uncle Dave does it on the second Saturday. It's probably one of the coolest things that the kids get to do. And then once they complete their rebuilt rod, then they get to pair it with a fishing reel and then have their own gear to fish with. So that's our first sample of rod building, but it's definitely an art and something more people are doing and growing. But so kind of take us through the process of what it starts to wrap a rod and what you do when you start, from a blank on up, and how that works?
Well, you got to first thing you got to figure out is what type of fish you're going to be fishing for. From there, then you're going to pick out a blank for starters, the components, what you want to use it for. Then you start building it, but you got to figure out what type of grip you want. If you want Hypalon grip, if you want cork grip, if you want tuna cord, there's so many different types of grips that you can use that it's just incredible. You can design your own grips. You can build onto an existing grip, change it up. I mean, really get into the decorative aspect of it. Then you got to figure out if you want a spinning rod or a conventional rod or a low profile. The designs that people can make and that they do make are incredible. Anything from your basic cross wrapping designs, like the diamond wraps is what they're commonly known as, all the way to weaving your own design and creating just magnificent type styles of rods.
What was that one that you showed me? I remember years ago when you talked about the diamond. There was one you did. It wasn't like a Black Widow wrap that you made where it was like
That's
red,
the form
black.
of a
That was like
wrap. Yeah, there's the diamond wrap that is also the forms into the Black Widow. You can also do fishies, just all sorts of different things. I've got a slew of pictures I can send over to you of different types of designs. I got more into the weaving because those are my own creations where I do the skull and daggers, schools. People will send me a picture and I will make the thread into whatever the picture is that they sent me.
Yeah, I know. I think we had a guppy one we were going to do before for like a raffle prize years back.
Yeah, I need the picture.
We could do one that we could put in our fundraiser this year. So when you do your rod wrapping, you do everything from teaching. You do classes on teaching rod wrapping, but then you also take custom orders, right? So if somebody says, "Hey, I want to fish big game, and this is what I want ideally," and then you do you specifically on what the angler wants besides just you helping them build them, right? You do both.
Right. I do online classes that I started teaching courses through the community colleges.
Look at that.
And then kind of went off on my own and do 6-week courses, same thing, but it gives me more of a leeway doing it on my own than trying to follow a school schedule on what they want done. For instance, if somebody doesn't get their stuff in time because of, UPS being notoriously late, with the community colleges, you had to keep continuing on. But this, I can say, okay, your stuff's not going to arrive till Wednesday. Let's hold off Tuesday's night practice and pick it up Thursday so that you have it, so we can take you step by step through the process. So yeah, people can go and they can either take, beginning classes. I've got intermediate classes, advanced classes, and they're not like the one-day ones where you've got to cram everything into one day. These are actual 6-week courses. So it takes the person step by step each of the way.
The other day we had our slogan for Real Guppies it's always let's go catch a memory. But now we're kind of there's a kid in all of us. So we had a rod building, which normally is for, our kids to take a rod and do it. But we had a father that had to be in his 60s and his daughter was in probably her 40s. And they got to come in here and make a rod together. Like he was working on one and she was one, and the dad was calling his brother that threw away an old rod and was like, "I found that reel or that rod that you threw away. They have a duplicate here and I'm working on it." And watching them work together, weaving them together, like you say. I mean, some of it's basic, is just like you said, we don't have all day to show them. So it could be a rod that just needs a tip on it, right? And he shows them how to sand it down and glue on the tip and then put it on the roller and still, epoxy it and make it. But it was neat to see that they're still catching memories as a family here. Watching them wrap a rod together, excitement no matter what age, man, and watching them go through the process of spending that family time together and how neat it is. I mean, you and your dad have been doing family fishing days. You guys are probably one of the epitome, especially in California, for an outfit of father-daughter team. How long you guys, how much time you guys been on the water, I guess, if you would put together from deckhanding to captains and working with your dad? Give us some stories about that.
Oh my Lord. I couldn't even begin calculating.
And we only got 20 more minutes. So yeah, something. Sorry. I know that was a lot, but I mean, just what does it mean to you though, or something, for that time that you guys spend and what you've learned in your family business of being on the water and doing and what you're doing. I mean, now you just said your dad's down doing a conference at USC and you're teaching at, look where fishing's taking you,
I guess when it comes to fishing and stuff, we're everywhere. But the time with us, it's just been, I mean, that's what I grew up knowing. I don't know anything else. I see families where, they don't do anything together. And I'm looking at it like, this is why me and my dad are so close. This is why the family's so close. Even my kids got pulled into it when they were born. So it's like, this is what I know. It's a family unity. And it's something that I don't think, it's a very special thing, I think.
If you had one, is there any one story you could tell us about being on the water, or something that you guys caught, or something that stands out, or anyone like a story you could share with our listeners just on what that a trip maybe or something, just a short description of that? I think that'd be kind of cool.
Okay, I think the most memorable one of how I actually got into getting my captain's license. I was 14 years old, kind of a little rebellious, snuck out of the house to go partying with my friends. When I came back, my dad was sitting in my bed tapping his foot. And he looked at me with that stern dad face that makes you feel this big and says, "You're grounded for life." And just sat back and stared at me as I feel like my whole mentality is just shrinking like this. Here I am today, still working with him, doing everything that he wants me to do because I've been grounded for life.
But you're grounded in other areas, right? I mean, you're grounded in fishing. You're grounded in continuing to grow our industry. Rod building is, I know it's grown a lot as far as people's perking their interest to doing their own stuff and how they get to design. I think fishing is one of those tinkering things that people can do forever, whether you're creating your handcrafting, your own flies, getting all your gear ready the night before, getting it all ready, the superstitions of that old trusty, reliable lure that you could use, right? Like there's just these things that are grounded into fishing. And with rod building, you really get a chance to work with people to watch their creativity and something that they've created their own. So when they do catch a fish on it, right, you get stories back on, hey, I caught it on the rod we built, or, the rod you mailed me, I caught this record, this record fish on it. You get testimonials of that, and just the pleasure of watching people bring their creation to life and then harvesting something from the ocean on it. What's that like?
Oh yeah. On our online classes, I get to sit there and watch them build it, and just the looks, especially the little kids that take the class. They're all excited because they're thinking they're taking like a college course, which it is a college course, but it's on its own, and seeing them that they can build this, and it's just phenomenal. And then they go out fishing with what they've built, and they show me the pictures in the next class of everything that they caught on the rod that they built. And so that's just, to me, is like the highlight of each class.
Yeah, just catching those memories and high life. You're like we some of the kids that I get pictures from, I call them, because I have some kids that have their own kids. We call them grand guppies, and you get to see them. Yeah, grand guppies, and I get to see that highlight on their face when they catch that fish or that memory, and they get to share that time together. And that's what our fishing industry is about, and that's kind of what our real English thing and what your guys do again bring to fishing is. There's a lot more than just catching these monsters, right? Whether it's building your rod, creating it, fellowshipping on the water with your friends, your family, there's a lot more. And your dad, it's on my board that he wrote down. Scotty, will you mind yelling it out? Just one sec. Hold on. What does it say right here? In that blue writing over there. Some people fish their entire life. Your dad wrote this this thing on our board that's still there. Some people go their whole lives without. What does it say, Scotty? Yeah. Some people fish their whole lives and not knowing that the what is it? Sorry, you have your microphone on, Scotty?
Some people go their whole lives and it's not the fish that they're after.
Right. So when you're doing these classes and you're showing, like you say, these kids bringing it to life and they're catching it on their mind, there's just so much more to it. So now that you can build your own rod too, that just adds another layer of of a connection, the spiritual connection or this harvesting connection of the hunter-gatherer, I think, that we all have, right? And I'm sure by teaching them how to do rods, you guys are still even bringing new anglers in that are maybe taking this class that maybe not had an interest in fishing, but now that they built their rod, maybe they might start picking up our recreational sport.
And don't forget them learning how to fix their guides if they break from carved doors being shut on them or something.
Yeah. Uncle Dave, the guy that runs our rod building, he just brought in, I think, 10 rods that we got from Turner because of them taking a beating on in our storage and stuff. And he just brought them back in, and because that happens, you can break a guide off but the rod's not completely, you don't have to discard it. You can fix it, refurbish it, and keep on catching memories on that same piece of equipment.
Yeah.
So let me talk to you about, I know that you won an award, right? Weren't you on the top for, was it a blind contest where the rods were shipped around the world and you were, tell me what that was. I know it's been in probably a year or so, but what was that? Because we have an award-winning Tiffany Vague here with her rod building. So tell us about that award and what it was.
The contest was an international event, and it was
international.
Yes, it was international. They were trying to pick the top 10 in the world, and so people from all over the world came to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and back in like September, they sent everybody that was entered the same blank, and you didn't know what the blank was going to be or what you were building or anything until you got the blank. Then you had to figure out what class it was, what weight class it was, what it was for, what type of fish, and yada yada yada. So you had to build this rod with your own design, making everything is your own, not a pattern or anything, your own thing. And then you took it out there to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where they had hundreds and hundreds of rods all lined up. Then they had judges come in and go through every rod, and they picked out the top 10 with the way they looked. Then they took it back to Florida, where it was like a week long, where they were going through everything with a fine-tooth comb on each rod, making sure that the guides were straight, the correct guides on that rod were there, the functionality, how it worked. I'm wondering if they took it fishing because it was a week before anybody found out who made the top 10. So I'm pretty sure they took them all fishing.
You got to take it out and put a bend in it.
So then I was told they did this, a Facebook thing, and we went out there, and then that night they read off the people who made the top 10, and I was one of them. So it was pretty cool, and they gave me a plaque and everything. And my son was just learning how to wrap rods, Johnny, and he took his rod out there, but he didn't want to compete against me or the adults or whatever, so he put his in the People's Choice Awards. Even though he was the only kid in it, everyone else was adults. So his whole concept flew out the window of not wanting to compete against adults. But he took first with his.
Wow.
On People's Choice. So yeah, that was pretty fun to watch him. I was more excited for him than I was for me.
That's so incredible, man. Well, I know you work hard. I see you, as long as you've been hanging out at the hall shows, I always stop by your booth and sit in your dad's chair while he's gone and hang out with you, or vice versa. Like your guy's always a pit stop, but I see you walking through the shows, doing your seminars with your cart and all your different rods. Like you're so committed to what you're doing. It's to be expected. We do a lot of per every episode that we do is like encouraging and motivating to our viewers and listeners as well. And you're very motivating and inspiring on what it looks like to commit to your craft, and I think that's why you have success. I know that's why. And also your son, because you really set a standard, and what you love to do. And I think when we do what we love and love to do, it doesn't seem like countless hours, right? Which it really is.
No, it doesn't. That's the difference. When you really get into something that you really love to do, time just swings by you. I'll get up at like 4:00 in the morning just because I got an idea. I got to do this on a rod. Then I'll start working. The next thing I know, it's 2:00 the next morning. And I got my husband like, babe, you got to go to bed now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just all about if you get into it and you love it, then it's just better than going to the 9-to-5 job that you hate. That seems like it's 3 weeks of work when you're only there 8 hours.
And people say, Kev, you're always working. I'm like, but you see what I get to do? I'm like on a boat, man, on the harbor.
Yep.
Today I'm going to go teach Carpenter Middle School kids how to fish off the beach. Like, it's not real tough. It's really, and then if I get stuck in traffic, I'm on the 101 between Ventura and Santa Barbara. So the view's pretty spectacular on the way up there, you know? Right. So when I don't really get, like, I do get, you know, of course you get exhausted, but the point of just to together is that, yeah, you don't feel like, you know, with the work that we get to do, but I'll tell you, you probably don't get to fish quite as much as you'd like, huh? With all the work that you got, we don't get our lines in the water as much as it, but the stuff that we get to do is still meaningful, but we don't get to fish as much as we'd actually, people think we might, you know?
Well, when we're on the boat running charters, it's more of we bring everybody else to turn the handles for us.
What is your, besides it, is there a trip that you guys take or a family thing? Is there somewhere ideal that you love to fish to besides, you know, the Santa Barbara background? Is there something that you guys do annually or somewhere you like to, that, you know, go out and get away from it and fish somewhere just you guys that you enjoy as well besides just off our coast?
Every year we take a family road trip. We start from California and then we make our way all the way out to North Carolina, and every state we stop and we fish a day or two in each state on the way there, and then different states on the way back. So we don't go the same route. We'll fish like the last trip was I fished Topac Marsh, which is just an incredible place in Arizona. And then we went and fished in New Mexico. Then we fished in Cisco Lake, Texas. Then we went into fishing Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and then North Carolina. Stayed there and fished all over different places in North Carolina. Then on the way back, we hit Tennessee, Oklahoma, Colorado, and then we made our way back down. So it's something that we like to do. Last time we went, it was like in January when we usually go, but for the last 2 years, we always get stuck in a blizzard.
So instead of having passport stamps for people to travel all over the world, you guys have fishing licenses from every state in a little stamp in your little pouch. When we were in each state, making sure that we got a license. So hey, that's as you told that story, I think I just smiled ear to ear because my brain works like a movie. So I'm visualizing and picturing this family adventure hitting all these lakes. Like visually, I could like picture it and see it in my brain. And I was just smiling the whole time you were saying that, man, because that just sounds so, I mean, it's such the American way, dream, family time, you know, that experiences, those are things that are like, you know, and we're, as Brandons, we don't have a lot of family tradition prior to the stuff we do now. And it's so important to me now, and my name in this business and our industry and our legacy is so that we could start making those family traditions. You know, we want to go to these areas so that my grandkids, well, now that I just have my first granddaughter, you know, that we start doing these trips. So when I hear stories like that, it reminds me of why I work so hard in what I do so that we can achieve those wonderful things too. So it's not just all work and grind. It's not all because part of what we love to do is that too, right? So when you're working hard and making business and putting money in your pocket so that you can experience those type of experiences as well with your family.
Here's a key thing on our road trips that we found out was that we go to Airbnbs that are on the properties on lakes. If you do it that way, that's private property. You don't have to get a fishing license for private property. So you can bypass, you know, because some states are only $10, some are 15, some are 20. It just all depends on where you go. But if you get an Airbnb house on a private property on a lake or stream, you don't have to get a fishing license.
Yeah, that probably helps too when you got to shower and do all the stuff that you got to do on the move too when you're trafficking versus being stuffed in hotels, you know, cook inside. We get an Airbnb. We have our interns looking at our Airbnb when we go to Florida for ICAST again. And that really does help some of our logistics, you know, versus staying out of the motels, you know, that we could cook food in there and have our per day and eat and stuff. So that's a good tip. So if you're listening, folks, that people are listening and thinking about, hey, we're going to make a cross-country trip or something to do, like there's some guided ways to maybe save some finances and be comfortable, you know. So take that tip from Tiffany and you know, go out and see the world, man, see the country. Now let's jump back because we only got a little bit of time left. Talk to us again. Let's wrap it up with the show, what's going on? You said you have 10 speakers talking. What are they going to be talking about? And is it just kind of throughout the day? Where do they find you? What stage you guys going to be on? Let's talk about the show and what's going on with what you got going on.
We're going to be at the Fred Hall Show, Bart Hall Show, and it's going to be Vague's custom seminar stage that we have there. It's a
she got her own stage. Look, you got your own stage.
I
remember again,
in the world.
No, but I'm saying that is because I've seen you going to do these across the show with your wagon to go be on stages. And this is exactly where you belong, right? Because of all those repetitions that you've got doing a seminar here and there and keeping this rod building and watching it, even like you say, it's been growing as a part of our industry. So that's awesome to hear that you got your own stage.
Bart feels sorry for me because I'm old now and he sees how hard it is to walk from one room to another. So he's just planting me in one area.
Though. Yeah, he has the scooter, but Bart got us. He's cruising around on a little minibus now. So, but no,
yeah,
kudos to you. And also, but look at just to jump in this family industry. You guys have been working with them probably for years too, right? From everything
Since
from
I know they were there.
Yeah, that this is family, right? So I'm sure he's just as happy and proud to showcase like his niece or his extended granddaughter in some direction too, you know. So I'm sure it's everybody's winning.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool though, because we have like the whole setup of what we're doing this year is completely different than any other years. You've got back-to-back seminars all day long, different speakers showing different, techniques for rod building. We also have a display unit where Batson has sent out a slew load of things for people to check out that want to get into rod buildings, from equipment to guides to blanks to materials, everything that you could possibly.
So that's the blanks that you use, right?
I use pretty much Batson. I mean, if somebody wants something else, I'll do it. But Batson has been just a godsend to us.
Well, to the whole industry. And if people know, right, we were on Cousins together, right? You're a Cousins. Yeah. So me and Tiffany both were on Cousins rods together. So we hung out with them that we worked with over there. And then they went out of business. But the reason I say that is because Batson has been they donate to us our program every year too.
Oh, yeah, they're incredible
really good people, man. So just give them a little shout out real quick as we let you finish up,
Yeah, Batson's incredible. I mean, he's the one that supplied this whole thing for this seminar. And then we also have all the rod builders that are doing seminars. They're bringing their own rods that people can purchase that they've built. So it's, learning how to rod build, as well as they can purchase, custom-made rods from a variety of different people. And then we also have free raffles where at the end of the day, somebody's going to walk home with a custom rod.
Is it a custom rod that's built there, or they get to call you with the specs of what they want and then you build it after the show?
To be determined, but we have rods to do. But I'm also giving out some free, people can sign on to the classes. I'm giving like 2 free certificates each day so people can go and take on the online classes. And they can sign up right there at the show too for the online classes.
Yeah, we got to connect. I know we have some adults here that we might be able to send your way too. That want to do more of the complete rod building versus the stuff that we do with the limited time. And then, of course, next year or this year, I'm going to ask you to come in as our guest speaker and come in and when you have time to our own learning center ourselves and maybe give a couple tips and pointers.
Under one condition.
What's up?
Send me the photo so I can make that guppy rod so you can use for, a donated thing so that you can use for, whatever you needed the money for.
Sounds like a deal. Yeah, we'll use it for this ICAST 360 that we're going to do. That's what ICAST, because the students that were interns last year that helped me get out there and do all the emailing and help me with the Blue Carpet premiere, the Port of Hueneme is actually going to start paying our interns. And this year I want to take them with us out there. So the Airbnb that we're talking about, one of the guys that does the finances has to work on that. So we got to raise money for our air flight. We got the Lions Club International is helping us pay for the booth and then stuff. So when we start raising funds for this particular trip, we could use that rod in there to make sure that those funds go to help in getting our whole team to ICAST this year. So it's like
send me the picture and I'll make one up for you.
I'll send it to you when we're done here. And then the last thing, I know I'm talking to your dad at the SAC meeting. Tell us if you guys are building a commerce page and a website that they could get all that going. Let's talk about your website and where they could find it, and also give out your information where they could find you.
I built this website. It took forever and a day, about a year to build. I never want to do this again. I'd rather be building rods, but I had to take time off from building rods to build this website. And on the website is got, where you can sign up from the online rod building classes. You can purchase all your guides, various different materials, components, and everything to build your own rod at rock bottom prices. So you get a discount for going on the website. It also has videos to show you how to do certain things, and then, just all sorts of different stuff on there that we've been doing. So they should check it out at vaguerods.net. Sign up for class.
Vaguerods.net.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to yell out one more time.
Have net, why we chose net instead of .com, because you fish with nets.
Right. Yeah, you got to keep it fishy.
Yeah, so vaguerods.net.
Vague rods. All right, so check it out. Again, if you're into rod building, any questions, stop by. You guys are going to have your booth too, though, right? You're not just going to be seminars. You guys are going to have a booth too.
I'm running all the seminars, so that is my booth.
Okay. Awesome.
You'll find me there.
All day. Well, I'll be by to hang out as usual. And actually, I think I'll meet you about 11:30 so I could come in with you to the show itself.
Yes, you have to meet me at 11:30.
But I just want to say thank you, though, too, man. Like, again, you helped. You ran ad space on Real Anglers Fishing Show, and I had about 3 partners. You wrote us a check a couple times to help cover production costs. Your dad's given me so much knowledge on this advocacy part of fishing and CCA. When I was the president, we worked together. We've just done so many incredible things, and I appreciate you guys' support, guidance, and I just want to, my name and our legacy of what we're trying to build is based on watching what you guys do as a family and what I want to bring to this recreational fishing industry, especially in our Channel Islands area, man. So thank you very much for your support, and I hope I'm making you guys kind of proud as well of what I'm doing and where I've come.
Don't ever ground your son for life, okay? Let him do it on his own.
Yeah. Now he's little Kev. He's actually coming with me today. He's my assistant at the kid fishing days that we do up here at Carpinteria. So he's actually coming into work here at the family business a couple of days teaching fishing too, my little guide. And then my daughter Alexis graduated from Sacramento State, my oldest, and she's going to be working here with this probation thing to do all of our data entry and working with our case managers and case workers as we work through probation. What's that?
They're not old enough for this.
Yeah, she's 27 now, and Junior's 19. Oh, yeah, no. And Unique gave me a grandbaby. So yeah, we trucking along, man. These kids are grown now, which is kind of neat because then I get to run around the world and film and do what I like because my kids are old enough now. So the plus side of having kids when I was a teenager is now that I'm still young. I'm the hottest grandpa out here at 45, I think. But anyway, enough jokes. Hey, do me a favor, Tiffany. Do you have any words of encouragement? We like to shut the show down with some type of positive words or anything you want to leave something. I know we did talk about what we love to do and do love, but can you leave a little nugget of something impactful for our listeners for us?
If you want to do something, go for it. Just do it.
Just do it. All right. That sounds like a wrap right there. Tiffany, thank you so much. We're going to have this episode up today. Again, stop by the Bart Hall Show, the 29th through the 1st or 2nd February. This is the Long Beach show. Come on out, check it out. I'll be there on Thursday, shaking hands and kissing babies and hanging out with my friends. But stop by and check it out, and then check out vaguerods.net, right? Because you fish with a net. Remember that part for any questions, all right? This is Barry's going to take us out here. Thank you again, Tiffany. Tell your dad and the family I said hello. And we'll see you in about 8 days.
Yeah, 8 days. We'll see you soon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Have a great day. What was that?
At 11:30. At
11:30 at the glass doors. All right. Thank you so much. This is Barry. Say goodbye, Barry. Let's go.
Brought to you by AFTCO Fishing Apparel and Tackle, designed to perform. Channel Islands Sport Fishing, offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats, and more. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. See what's out there. Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.